showing violence in the thumbnail. It's not my
Yeah,
fault.
right.
It's
So
what
Yeah,
they
you
but-
say.
think they're going to shadow ban us like we're not
I
already
just-
shadow banned?
I opened my second account, like the creation one that I don't use anymore, and it just went through, and it was 23 euros.
Well, that's
Well, my
fantastic.
friend,
Thank you so much, Anime. Hey, wait a minute.
We're
Are we
live.
live? What's
We
going
are
on?
live. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
Jesus Christ.
It's time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gary. Not Jay.
And that's it. We're live now. What's up, guys?
Hey, hey.
It's Friday. Anima had to go. Anima joined us. She was so sweet. She paid for our StreamYard just now. That was really sweet of her. Thank you very much.
Lovely
Brandy.
lady.
Yeah, it's almost like, we should have a relationship.
So
Oh my God.
you would be the escort because she's the one paying.
Hey, it's not the first time I've been somebody's bitch. All right. So I saw Christian Delorme was already here. Of course, Anima's already in the audience. I was told that you should never, because I've always said in French, bonjour mon ami. And then I was told that that's too American. And so I wrote to him back in French, bonjour bien fait. And that's supposedly like a more personal way of saying it and not the American way. Now you pay for me to get over there. There you go. So Keith is here, by the way. He's hiding.
Yes.
I think he's in the car still, right? Are you in the car?
Out and about with the family. So,
Yeah. It's not like this is an every Friday thing that just kind of comes up suddenly, right?
gotta spend all the time with the grandkids I can.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Okay.
This is really cool. Scott got this for me today at the bargain bin. They were like $5 each. And what the bargain bin is I think they've got 6 shops here in Springfield, and they're all over the country. These are stores that basically get Amazon returns, and the returns end up in these little bargain bin stores. So somebody bought this. It was the wrong one. Never been opened. $5 each. And it's 2 of my favorite Capaldi episodes. It's the Christmas special.
I certainly love to have a store like that down here.
Yeah. Capaldi was the last real doctor. So
yes. Well, I have said time and time and again, regardless of the trash they gave him to read, he embodies the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's one of the few doctor fans because he was a fan before he became the doctor.
Oh,
and
yeah. The big letdown with his doctor was the writing. Was just getting so weak and tepid, I mean, we were promised this great return of the I just forgot the robot men. What are they called? Cybermen. They're going to be so scary, and they were bringing back the Marvel Comics writer from Sandman and all that shit, and DC, and just it was a big letdown. It was not scary. The last good scary episode, in my opinion, were during the Bad Wolf period with the Angels. But the Angels still, it was one of the scariest ever. And it's one of those Bruce the Shark episodes, because that episode came to existence because David Tennant wasn't available because he was busy shooting something else for the show. And so they had to come up with an idea to shoot around him, and that was the episode. Oh, look, it's the emotionally unstable amphibian.
aka
Greetings.
Crazy Frog.
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Penny is here. Hi, Penny.
Yes.
Hello.
Did you know that Capaldi was rejected by the Doctor Who fan club when he was younger?
Really?
Yeah.
And he kept a list of everybody's names.
No, he keeps the rejection letter.
He was
showed it-
rejected as a fan, or I don't understand. How was he rejected?
I think he was proposing himself as a president of the fan club, and he was formally rejected, and he showed that letter on TV.
Wow.
Yeah, oh, I'm not good enough to be your president. Well, I think I'm good enough to be the doctor.
Oh shit! Look at this. So Christian says, "Yes, I'm impressed, and I don't get impressed that I used the more familiar way of saying hello, my friend, in French." Let's see who else is here.
The
Boosh
book.
here. We have a Boosh in the house, and all I have to say is, how 70s of you? That's a lot of Boosh. So it's Friday. We are absolutely going to be shitting on Dave Filoni today, just to let you know. But I'm going to be shitting on some other people too. I'm going to be shitting on Russell T. Davies.
Pedro Pascal.
A little bit. This is going to be a German Scheisse film.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to be shitting on some people.
Oh, behave. We have our first super chat from Christian.
Yes, thank you very much. Because you celebrate Thanksgiving on a different day, like last month, wasn't it? I think Thanksgiving is like in October for Canadians.
Yeah,
but it's all about the same thing. It's thankful for having our country. We're very thankful. Oh, and look at that, just showing off my membership. There you go, buddy. Outstanding. But thank you. Happy belated Thanksgiving to all my American cousins. And
So
for you, what?
No, I think it would be 2 videos for him.
Well, I'm going to play this video for him right now because it's my favorite new video that I made. Here we go.
Oh my.
Do I threaten your masculinity, McLeod?
No. I threaten yours?
Everything I ever needed to know, I learned from McLeod.
those were the
I have
days.
another new video. Did you guys see this one yet? It's Brian for the end of the show.
That's it. Show's over.
Oh.
That's right. She did. And here's your video. Oh, wait. I'm going to do this one just for you, baby.
So who are you, man? Shit! I'm the party pooper.
I don't know if people even realize that's what I'm saying with my subtitle underneath my name. I refer to myself as the party pooper. De party pooper. I'm the party pooper. I finished watching his documentary series. And I wanted to watch it with Anna, but it was taking too long for us to get around to it. So I finally watched the final episode. I enjoyed it, but it got overly political at the end. And I went, this is disappointing. The focus. And I get it. Yeah, he ran for governor, on the Republican ticket. But the final episode just went political about everything. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I think he's trying to I think it's through Netflix trying to excuse some of his statements about the vaccines. So we're all going to forgive him because I have too much love for him to stay angry at him because he had a huge impact on me. Who dares disturb my slumber? It is us, Kingsport Cal. We are your alarm clock. There's a line in a Vietnam War book. I'm pretty sure it was a Rumor of War, where one of the sergeant turns to one of the soldiers, says, "Death is the ultimate alarm clock, because when it comes, it really wakes your ass up." I like that line. That's Pop Culture Minefield. We're like death.
Hello, Andy.
Andy is here. What's up, Andy? Now, I don't know if because Canada and the United States have Thanksgiving because we're formed countries. You know, people don't even remember when Britain was formed. It's been around so long. It existed, even before the Roman time. And back then they spelled it, instead of with an AI, they spelled it with an O, Briton. Oh, that's what it is. We woke you up with your phone ringing. Got you. Well, good. That's a good sign. That means that at least some people are getting the alerts. I like that. But Keith, are you here?
I think he's busy because he's muted. Oh my god. I may drop out. My internet is horrible.
Oh, that's
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. So there's so much to talk about because so much news came down this week. Keith, you want to get us started?
Yeah. Let's get started. Well, it seems that depending on who you talk to, looks like Mr. Dave Filoni's got something going on that is going to allow himself to have more of a say over the stories that Lucasfilm will be telling as far as Star Wars is concerned. Now,
And what do you think that means for us?
you know what? It's a big old S sandwich is really what it is.
That's what I took it as.
Look, there are still those people out there that believe that Dave Filoni is the second coming. And that's great. If you still believe that, go ahead.
Kennedy.
But over time, it has really become apparent to others that Dave Filoni is pretty much phony Filoni. And it just seems like he keeps telling the same stories of him and George Lucas and how close they were and how well he studied underneath them. And then he tells stories like Ahsoka, the Ahsoka series, and other things that people just don't really, well, it's not just people not liking, they're just not that good. And his abilities as a creator outside of animation are lacking, to say the least.
Well, he writes at a fourth grade level.
Yeah. So we're going to get more of that. This revelation of this title means that he'll definitely go ahead and probably make his Star Wars film. So he's definitely going to shoot one.
I got
despite
in the food.
Well, more than likely.
Good, Keith. It's not going to be good.
That also means that we're probably going to get the Rey film and several other things will probably happen. I'm sure that KK has also made sure that he's promised to fulfill all of her other obligations that they have as far as upcoming projects and not cancel anything that she's planned out. So basically, Star Wars effectively is over. So
yeah, and I want to show this. Here's the thumbnail. Thanks to Anima, we can show the thumbnail again. Martin is afraid that we're going to get shadow banned for this, but I don't think we will. I had made this way before, and I remade it this time, putting Filoni in the background, saying, "Can I join in, guys?" Because he's killing George Lucas's original Star Wars. Now, I don't do that lightly, even though it's humorous. It's how I actually feel what they've done. You know, it started with Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. JJ jumped into it, and then Filoni is the last one to jump in there to dig in his dagger with the current state of Star Wars. And Star Wars is just garbage right now. There's nothing good coming out. You can sit there and talk yourself blue in the face. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. I'm done. We had a chance with Favreau. You know, I don't consider him the savior of Star Wars like a couple of our idiot friends like to joke. But I did look at him as the person that was trying to right the ship. And he was given, you know, Chapek gave him a lot of freedom. And then Bob Iger stepped back in, and when Bob did, he undid what Chapek did. Chapek actually got Kennedy off Star Wars. Remember that shit, Keith?
Yeah.
He got her off of Star Wars and had her focused on other projects. And Filoni was able to get 2 seasons in before Bob Iger stepped back in, undid everything that Chapek did, and put her back in charge of Star Wars. And that fucked Jon Favreau over. And Filoni was in the Favreau camp as long as Favreau was in charge. But the minute Favreau was no longer in charge, Filoni absolutely leapt between Kennedy's legs. And we already know what a sellout he is with what he said at that 2016 feminist event. That he was just bad. I mean, his wife's a feminist, like a modern neo-feminist, not a classic feminist. Classic feminists wouldn't recognize this shit today. This is nothing about what I stood for. Because I was raised by feminists, you know, and I get it. I'm not a feminist. Men can't be feminists. Men who pretend to be feminists are usually future sex offenders. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong?
Yeah, guys. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong?
But, you know,
no.
Ultimately.
Like you mean it.
You should be more specific, man.
Fuck you.
I was just trying to please you.
You know,
ultimately.
You
wanted me to say it. Ultimately, what?
Ultimately, there's going to have to be some sort of an understanding moving forward that if things do change within the next year, as far as the battle for the future of the board, I'm sure that certain protections were committed to contracts signed to make it next to impossible to fire Filoni. But there are workarounds to dealing with him in the future. One good thing about all this is that Filoni is actually not running Lucasfilm. So, you know, if major changes do happen, they could still find someone else to run Lucasfilm. And that, to me, is the only major upside to a lot of this. That if Kennedy is going to waste a lot of her precious remaining capital with Disney to install Dave Filoni in this position, that means she won't have enough to actually help decide who will be running Lucasfilm. And if there's someone who is an actual business person, someone who recognizes that they're not a creative and who will be more responsive to doing what needs to be done in order to have more success, Filoni could find himself pretty much on thin ice with that person because he won't be allowed to really go out and spend as much money as what he's used to. I mean, that is the one thing that Filoni can definitely say he learned under Kathleen Kennedy, which is how to spend a lot of money and get less to nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Let's throw money out the door. Just shovel it out the door.
Wait.
As we pointed out, and the proof is in the pudding, that Star Wars is still not profitable.
Before you continue, we owe this.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
I was going to do that, but I was going to read his comment. I have his comment starred just so I could do that, but okay, never mind. That's what we refer to in the sex trade as pre-ejaculation. Another wasted money shot.
Bye monetization.
We have some good comments here, so let's get to it. So we've got some friends that have popped in. Read by Nature is here. Gap After Dark. Zach's my good buddy Zach's, and there was the thing I was going to show before I played the video. But you went ahead and played the video. Thank you, Martin. And welcome to you, Zach's. So let's get to some of these comments. Read by Nature says Ahsoka was so empty they didn't even set up the masked Jedi they killed so that he would at least be an effective red herring. Yeah. I caught a couple of things, and I thought the only thing good about the entire series was the one character played by the Aussie. I can't think of his name. It just died. And so we'll never get him back. We'll never get to see that guy as a character. And I felt like if they could at least get somebody in charge that loves Star Wars for real, that it could be good. But it's not gonna. We're not gonna get anything good.
Hey, look who's here.
So the next one is, hey, Fat Steven, what's up, buddy?
Are you camping?
Yeah. Gap After Dark. Hey, Gary, Keith, Anima, Kings Portal, Martin, Penny, Zax, and Fat Steven.
That's cool. Hi, guys.
And let's see, Kingsport Cal said, Ahsoka bored me to sleep. Didn't get past episode 2. I will finish it at some point. What I did is I put them in and I would just skip. Just keep hitting the skip button until I got to something that looked visually interesting, which was like 75 to 80% of the film. It's sort of like trying to watch Malik's version of The Thin Red Line. When all is said and done, it's a 3-hour movie, and I think I watched about an hour of it because it's so bad. So let's see. Read by Nature, guy in a cowboy hat promoted to chief. There you go. Nothing ironic there. Does Filoni have brains under the cowboy hat? I don't know, Keith. Do you think so? Again, I want to point out 4th grade writing level. I'm seriously, that's how he writes. 4th grade. It's an old TV way of writing, and he's going back to the old way of writing. It's very childlike. It's very stunted storytelling. What, Keith?
Well, it's also very derivative in many respects. You know, I get it that he has worked under Lucas, but I do not sense it understands what Lucas was trying to get at. And that's really what makes him a liability, ultimately. It's almost like years ago he was working under Lucas, and then mysteriously he either was frozen in ice or something, and they let him out, and he has a very limited understanding of how things really do work.
Yeah.
He really is a liability in what little talent he's shown. I do not sense someone who can actually move
we're losing
Star
you,
Wars
Keith.
forward.
Keith, you're breaking up really bad.
Someone who is...
he can't even hear me.
I sense someone who is very much... he's trying to basically create his own group of characters and take power over the stuff that he actually creates, basically.
Well, he wants Star Wars to be his Star Wars. I got you.
Yes.
So, Read by Nature says, Hail, Pop Culture Minefield, Martin Acosta, Santana, Keith, Anima Confusa, Bush McFadden, Penny, and Fat Steven Seagal, because you weren't here when he wrote that.
I know, it's okay.
Yeah, because I know that they would include you. You bet. Look, dude, I know you're crying. Stop.
Yeah, that's right, because I have to look at Welcome to the FU for the rest of Star Wars' life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that because instead of the EU, it's the FU.
The Filoni universe. Yeah, it's the FU.
Let's see. Lady V says, and by the way, hi, Lady V. Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope you all got stuffed. I certainly did. I made 3 chicken legs yesterday, or turkey legs. I wasn't going to bother because I'm sick of white meat on my turkey. It's never good. It's the dark meat. It's always better. Same thing with chicken.
Raisin.
That's 2 phrasings. I hope everyone got stuffed. And I'm really tired of white meat.
I am. And I knew that it was going to sound sexy when I said it.
Not really sexy, more like a nightmare, but
Yeah. I had a gay friend one time. We were playing this game called Nightmare that had a video host that you would play a video at certain points and hit play. And you were supposed to write your worst nightmare. And my gay friend's nightmare that he wrote on a little piece of paper and put into the cup was Gary as a gay man. Wow. That was his nightmare.
Look, Steven, there's people here.
Yeah, they're saying hi to you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, thank you.
I love you.
I'm glad Gary DM'd you all on Twitter. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I kept writing him, telling him, come on, somebody say hi to him for God's sake.
Say hello to that fat fuck. Just say hello to him once. You don't have to do it again.
Oh, shit. It's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
What is that behind
Everybody
you?
Put your wallets away. He's asking for money. I know it.
What's that phallus thing behind you?
It's not behind him. It's in his hand.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm only over here trying to save science fiction, and we're getting Gary's gay stories. This is what's going on.
Gary has to be in touch with the gay
you bring
community.
the image on the screen?
How dare you?
It's like a summoning circle. You say certain words and things pop up. It's just...
That's true.
I'm just going to tell you, it's not so much that it's veiny, but the very realistic purple head is getting...
That's a lot of nuts!
I was all into Star Wars, and I'm like, I'm gonna log in and talk about how I feel Star Wars is dead. And what do I get when I actually log in? Gary.
Well, Gary. I love you, buddy.
Whoa, you have
always have an open invite, so don't shit on me too much.
We'll save that for your gay stories later on.
Yeah, the gay stories.
Shit on.
That's when I want to get shit on. Yeah. So anyway, why are you here, Chris? What's up, buddy? Let's hear it.
Well, I'm, you know me. I have a lot of controversial opinions, and one of them is that Monty Python and the Holy Grail really only has 4 funny scenes, and the rest relies on the fact that British people know that they are funny when they sound indignant. But also, Star Wars is dead. It's been dead for a while, and it's time to bury this corpse, because we know it's not going to get any better. Oh, that 70s rock fan. Greetings.
Hey, Brian's here. Oh, you should join us, dude. I had so much fun. Brian, I think, and Nick said it, this last Tuesday's Toxic Tuesday was one of the best. Just absolute fun. It was mayhem. There was I don't think you can get more homoeroticism in an episode than what we got into this last episode of Toxic Tuesday. It was so much fun.
You need to put that quote on a review.
That should be the name of his campaign.
Absolutely. It is a great review to hear something like that. Unfortunately, yes, we know you, Chris. Oh my God. That's Cal said that one. Stop beating
speaking of which, by the way, I got
dead. Oh my God.
Look, I just have to say, the reason the Filoni is not a good choice is for the same reason he was a good choice. He's always been a yes man. When he worked for George Lucas, he was a yes man, and you got good product because Lucas would say, give it this flair, do this thing, and he would say, yeah, under Kathleen Kennedy, he's doing the same thing. As long as you're flashing money.
He's a good follower.
Yeah.
Like Alex Kurtzman.
But in the end, he wants to push his Star Wars, not George Lucas's.
He's a knee bender. He will bend his knees as much as he gets what he wants out of it.
There really is a homoerotic flair to this episode.
I
isn't
wasn't
there?
trying to add it.
I'm telling you,
I'm
dude,
saying give
this
it
is a very gay episode.
I'm just saying, look, Star Wars
You're
is
not
dead.
helping
And
with that purple monster behind you.
Yeah.
the only thing is that, you know, I do believe now, I think it's very important that the live streamers continue to cover and criticize whatever Disney Star Wars comes out, purely on the basis that it needs to be pointed out regularly that it's crap. Because these people, this isn't like criticism to make things better. It's not like someone's going to listen and go, oh, if we listen to these guys, it's going to be better. They have no interest in anything being better because their entire worldview is based on might is right. They only believe in ruling over things that they've destroyed. And that's their vision of power. So we're never going to get anything good out of these people, and no matter who gets put in charge, it's always going to be dead. So my thing is that everybody else, again, the reviewers should point this out, because we need to be able to recognize what something bad is, and it's good to have an audience that's interested in hearing about what is bad, so we can also learn about what makes something good. But I urge everybody, for your own sake, for the sake of your individuality, for your autonomy, for your whatever, your manhood or your womanhood, whatever it is, just close the door on Star Wars.
For God's sakes.
Close the door on Star Wars. Close it. Keep it shut. If it knocks, knock, knock, who's there? Star Wars. You know, like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Who is it? If it's Star Wars, it can't come in. And if it's knocking on the door complaining about how other people are shutting the door on it, like, lock the door. If the doors are closed, then this shit goes away and we can get back to having something
the whole
good.
Thing about having a covered peephole. It's really important to look out, see who's knocking.
Keep your peephole covered. But that's all I wanted to say. I'm just, Star Wars is dead. It's not going to get any better. I don't care about Filoni.
Chris.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're right. It's not just Star Wars. It's Star Trek. It's Star Wars. It's anything that they're trying to continue on and on by
Doctor
using
Who
the
right
label.
now. Absolutely, it's dead.
The problem is we are now watching that pendulum we've been talking about for 3 years now swinging back, but it will not have a full course effect for about 5 or 6 years when we start seeing. Sorry, I'm not going political. When government starts switching the parties, they're not causing all this shit. And it goes into their cycle. They're saying, hey, they're doing well. Then they go into the shit. We're not going to see it till the pendulum hits back. And that's where we are right now. We're watching the downfall of creation, imagination, and the inability to create something new. We just shit.
And we're waiting for really the inevitable arrival of other Nelson Peltzes out there.
Yeah.
Because that is happening. You cannot waste the kind of money that they have been wasting and not have any bad effects. Eventually, you're going to start hearing from the shareholders who by now should be either getting mad or already mad about how much money has been wasted. From a business point of view, this has been a disaster.
Can I say another? Go ahead. Sorry.
We're going to see. I'm guessing we're going to see this by the end of the U.S. election. When we get whoever has been nominated or whoever wins, that is where we're going to see a tipping point. And
well, yeah,
that's going to start. And then Hollywood is going to have either an aneurysm, or they're going to jump for joy with dementia, or things are going to change. It's like there's nothing else to do about. We're on this road to hell.
Well, I got to say this, because the road to hell is a good way to say it. If I kind of have a weird religious belief in that heaven is for good artists, and if there's a preview of hell, it's Hollywood, and by extension, California. I say
that's Chinafornia. Come on, guys, come on.
Oh gosh.
They literally roll out the red carpet and the red flag.
One American flag, and not one American flag on the street at all.
But essentially what it comes down to, and Keith, I appreciate your hopefulness for Nelson Peltz, but I am not waiting for that Calvary. I don't think it's ever coming.
No. I'm not talking about it returning us to anything. What I'm talking about is on a separate thing, the business end of everything. You cannot waste that kind of money.
I think, look, Nelson Peltz isn't doing this because he's worried about Star Wars fans. Nelson Peltz isn't doing this because he's worried about Marvel. Nelson Peltz is doing it because they are wasting a lot of money. And by extension, could somebody else come along and do something? Maybe. That really does depend on whoever decides to come along. But I'm telling you right now, if this hasn't already become the discussions in the offices of various lawyers, it soon will be.
If Donald, sorry, I'm going to use this again. If Trump could do a rally and literally then wave his hand over to Peltz, going, even Peltz is pissed off with Disney. Disney is failing. We're already at the tipping point where a presidential campaign, a presidential candidate is literally going, no duh. No duh.
Peltz sees an opportunity to seize power, and I'm sure he can make a lot of money doing it. And I'm sure he can course correct some things. What I'm seeing, and this is kind of extends into the aftermath of the Hollywood strikes, is Hollywood is not going to hire Hollywood to do anything anymore. It's all going overseas. Australia is already producing a bunch of stuff. They're buying overseas products. They're already, I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people reaching out to independents, just curious, like, yeah, so what are you doing over here and how are you doing it so cheap? That is happening cautiously. I'm not saying that, is going to turn into anything, but the entire landscape is going to change, and Hollywood is dead in the sense that, not that in the sense it's not going to make movies anymore, but it's no longer the central big dog of entertainment that it once was. That's gone.
And that's great. And if they're reaching out to independents, that's fantastic. But here's the danger in that. We could easily find ourselves right back where we are right now.
We always do, though. That's the whole cycle of things.
If the same people that are running things continue to use the formula of using people who do not know their way around the business to actually enact
I want to toss in here with this, Keith, because you guys are leading to something, which is something that, if you remember your history with film, they attempted back in the 80s to move Hollywood to the East Coast. And it was in the Carolinas, and Dino De Laurentiis was one of the big major executives that tried to do this. Screen Gems has a studio in North Carolina, and easily, to get away from all the bullshit in Hollywood, you could see a shift in the paradigm to trying to do this again. Because now, not the 80s, now is the time when you could do that, because Hollywood's hurt. Hollywood is hurt. It's damaged. It's going to switch from production to distribution only. And independent studios could absolutely make a killing right now if they went to the East Coast. But I also want to point out, I can hardly wait until they pull this out of their trunk over at South Park and start doing something about Imagination Land right now with the death of Hollywood, the way we're seeing it. Because now is a fertile time to bring back Imagination Land. Right, Chris?
I think that, you're on the right track. But, I mean, we're seeing it. It's happening a lot in a lot of different ways. Almost like Dollywood is actually one of the biggest parks in America at the moment. You just don't hear about it because that's not part of the narrative they're trying to spin.
If it's redneck, nobody in mass media wants to talk about it.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I not mentioning any names, but I moved from California to Texas to get away with what was going on in California, and I didn't see a future for myself there in the way that I wanted to make films. But I still see people there. I can point directly at things like, I don't know, the feces covered streets, the massive, they're coming back already. The massive inflation, due to taxation and supply issues and all these different things, all these different ways Californians are suffering. And they're like, I don't see it. It's a beautiful state. Everything's fine here. And these are people who are, what do you call them? NIMBYists. They've been there long enough where they're able to just kind of float above it and pretend that it doesn't exist. But eventually the foundations will erode away, and they'll collapse into it as well. It's like I said, I'm very excited to be going back for a visit. I'm going to be there for a weekend for Award This. I think that what Chris Gore is doing is fantastic, and I could go on a whole tirade of why. Gary, you said it best last time, though. They're one of the last outlets probably in the Western world that still cares about cinema.
Film Threat? Yeah.
But as far as Star Wars goes, it's just, like I said, anybody out there, just close. I mean, people already are. Nobody's watching it. Nobody cares. The toys are all in the, $5 envelope bins and that sort of thing. And, but there is a great opportunity there for filmmakers who are, yes, I'm going to say it, using open source technology like Blender and AI, to go in there and carve out a niche audience for themselves that picks up a lot of that goodwill that the sci-fi franchises that we love have left on the floor. The horror genre, by the way, gets it. I mean, I think I told you guys before, I went to one of the opening weekend showings of Five Nights at Freddy's with my daughter in a room full of fans. I've never seen a theater more electrified ever. Like they were going.
They were a damn movie, dude.
Yes. They were
I enjoyed
screaming and laughing, and when when a character would show up that they loved, they would cheer. It was amazing, and the horror knows that. Horror is Blumhouse Studios, whatever Jason Blum is doing, he knows about the fans. What do we have Kingsport Cal saying?
I have a problem with Jason Blum because he's a typical Hollywood male feminist. And what did I say about them?
But he still pays attention to the fans. I can deal with any number of personality quirks that I disagree with, as long as they're doing their job properly and not, like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's. That was like, I don't care who's doing it. That respected the fans. My daughter and I left the theater. There were kids like coming up to me that were like her friends, asking me, because I was the older guy there, what did you think of it? And I had a great time too. I was so happy for them, and I want to see that. And that's a newer franchise,
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's right now it's great for horror, but the thing is, it's also great for science fiction. It's just that they're like with Dollywood, they're ignoring all of the people that are doing this. I have been talking until I've been blue in the face about the Dust Network on YouTube. Those things don't just appear out of nowhere. These are all people that are spending money to create great entertainment, great content. They're just outside of the studio system. Okay? And when you see things on the Dust channel on YouTube, you get great stuff. You get stuff that for some of these people, they could spend a little more money and go the Blumhouse route and create something really good, because a lot of the Dust Network, Dust Channel exclusives, it's usually stuff that's at least below 20 minutes, way below 20 minutes sometimes. But then you have some people that, they could easily turn some of these things into much longer features themselves, but they're never going to get the opportunity because they don't play the games.
It's one of these things, though. It's definitely for a new generation, and it's Kingsport Cal was pointing out too that he'll probably never watch it, even though he said good for FNAF. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a new generation. In a way, I feel like take Indiana Jones for example. I remember when I was a kid loving Indiana Jones. And my grandpa was like, "You love Indiana Jones? You got to watch this movie Gunga Din." Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying Gun.
I've said this for years, that he took some of the best moments and put it into Temple of Doom.
Yeah, right. But the thing is that he was doing it for my generation, and so when I watched Gunga Din, I was like, okay, not that it's not a good movie, but for a kid. For us to show, and I've said, I work in an office where I talk about Star Wars sometimes, and like some 20-something year old I'll work with, it's like, oh yeah, my dad likes that. It's not resonating with them anymore because they're resonating with, what's that?
They're resonating with TikTok. If they're not getting the immediate gratification. You have to put Star Wars up in 1 minute intervals on TikTok, and that guy will just swipe through everything and go, wow, this is great. That's literally what you got to do.
Let's not forget, as being, because you and I, Keith, the three of us are original members of the MTV generation. And what was the criticism of that? Quick editing. Remember that? They're editing for the MTV generation because we want everything quick and fast, which isn't true. I know this is going to sound gay. I like long shots. I like a scene that plays out. I know, long shot, just totally gay.
So you're talking about like the Book of Boba Fett, that whole series, one long shot.
The thing is you know what? I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be as cynical as to say that
hug you right now, Keith. I mean, Steve,
I'm black now.
It's not just the TikTok generation. It's the there are things. They're the Netflix generation more. They'll talk about Squid Games. They'll talk about Stranger Things. They'll talk about.
I'm bored with your show. I'm going to go to the other one. That's really what the
King
Netflix
of Legacy of Monsters needs a shout out though. That shit's good.
Well, again, it's part of it is the fact that you have an entire generation that created a lot of this stuff that are now way older than the young people in their 20s. And what you need are people that are of a reasonable age close to the viewers now, who have a better understanding of what, first of all, plot, story, and character are. Irony, definitely a lot of irony. They need to know.
Well, I definitely agree with story and character. Plot, again, I want to emphasize this because it can't be emphasized enough, that plot is not necessary to tell a good story.
No, it isn't necessary, but
you can't have a story make a story out of a plot, but you can have a story without one.
Well, let me just mention this because this is important to realize as well. People do still want to go to the movies. Obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's spent the right amount of money to appeal to the right audience and made a killing. We can go all the way back to the Top Gun sequel. There are people who will, they'll show up for Barbie, they'll show up for Oppenheimer. There's still young people who want to go to the theater and have a good time, and that theater experience told me that. So it's not just TikTok. I think what it is, and this has been pointed out before, Star Wars, as an example, and Star Trek too, not Wrath of Khan, Star Trek as well, will just continually cannibalize reference itself. What we need to do is take the best things about what made it work for us and bring that into new stories so the new generation can have some sense of ownership over it as well, rather than just being hammered the same franchises. And I love Alien, and Aliens are two of my favorite movies ever. I do not, even though I've heard the new Alien movie through certain people I know is going to be probably the truest to the fandom that we've seen since Aliens. It is just not really on my radar. I'm interested in, like I said, taking those essential
with making the cast so young, because when you go back to the original Alien, Alien with Ridley Scott's film, they were young, but they weren't that young. They weren't teens.
Well, they look like real people too.
Yeah, they look like
Sigourney Weaver is pretty, but she doesn't look like a model. She doesn't look like she came out of Central Casting.
Which is something Ridley wanted to go for. He wanted a more down to earth thing. Now, I want to point out something that Robot Head said something, because he and I talk every once in a while. I like Robot Head. I don't know if you guys ever check out his videos. He's fucking funny, dude. That guy slays.
Robot Head, huh? The show just keeps getting gayer.
Yes, Steven, do you watch Robot Head?
I might have. I've kind of been busy.
He is a snarky anti-Star Wars guy. Not real Star Wars, but current Star Wars.
Well, Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. So.
And there's no accent in the world that works with snark better than an Aussie accent. So I just crack up at his videos. But he and I were talking, and he was talking about how, that blame is coming at us because the Marvels failed. Where it's like, and this is the irony. And of course, this is their lack of understanding of irony. They go, we complain about it. Guys complain about it. And they go, well, this movie isn't made for you. And then the movie fails. And then they go, we blame the male fans because they didn't go see this.
And then it turns out more male fans went to see it than women.
Yeah, they can't. Well, that's the irony, is that less women, or I should say, more women avoided seeing it than men, and that is ironic.
I'm tired of paying.
But they don't understand irony in Hollywood anymore. And the fact that they want to blame us, they tell us we have no place to talk about it. It's not for us, but then bitch when we don't go to see the film.
I don't because they miss our money, they miss our influence. But here's the other thing to kick back a little. There are original science fiction and stuff outside of horror. Again, these people have no access. It's not so much that we can't use what a lot of things that have been around for a long time. There are new things. What needs to happen is those new things need to be allowed to be shown and presented by studios. Eventually, they are going to get around to a lot of this stuff. When they lose enough money and they piss a lot more of their shareholders off, because they need those. If you're running a major
when they
business,
got rid of Ike Perlmutter, though, Keith, and you and I talked about this, because you and I fell for Kevin Feige's bullshit, that he was preventing them from making good Marvel. So he got Disney to back him, and they got rid of Ike Perlmutter. Yeah. Well, come to find out, that was all fucking lies.
Yeah, it was. It was a mass campaign.
Was protecting Marvel.
Yeah.
From the woke.
And that, and again, you could see that with what Ike Perlmutter was able to do without Kevin Feige. You know, the Netflix stuff.
And don't get me wrong, I have problems still with Daredevil and the Punisher.
True.
I'm not Daredevil. I'm sorry, just the Punisher, because they made the villains in there good guys. The good guys are turned into villains in the Punisher series. That bugged me. You know, religious right was turned into villains. Cops were turned into villains in the two seasons of the Punisher.
Yeah,
that's under Ike Perlmutter. I have problems. It's not like I don't love Ike Perlmutter, but I do like him better than Feige.
Yes, and again, you also had the success they had with Legion, and with the
I enjoyed Legion. Did anybody else like that show?
I have to rewatch
the first season is near perfect. The first season is near perfect.
It kind of derailed a little bit after that, but I still enjoyed it.
It is.
Season one was perfect.
It is because you have people that are very good at what they do, and those people have decided to not come back. And in the case of Marvel, they decided not to come back on purpose because they don't like working for Kevin Feige. I mean,
they're chased away. I mean, this is the thing. They're chased away, and then it's filled with the poison people. Like I said, you should shut the door on these people, but they don't. They let them in, and then they poison everything. This goes for Wish. I was watching a scene from Wish, and it was amazing to me. It's like, obviously it's filled with these poison people, because all the lines that came out of the villain's mouth were poorly paraphrased, lazily recontextualized sound bites from Jordan Peterson. It's like they're just putting whatever they don't want to hear from reality into the mouths of the villains.
Yeah, they don't want any reality, because Jordan Peterson, even when I don't agree with him, I agree that he's in the ballpark with what he says.
There's no agreeing 100% with anybody, but
yeah, exactly. I need to do this real quick. I apologize, guys. We have like 27 highlighted comments, and I need to get to these before the top of the hour, and Martin interrupts to do his commercial break because it's so important that he gets that in.
I'm going to get going, and thank you for having me, because I got to get back. The reason I'm all sweaty and this, I had to leap in on this conversation, but I was finishing up yard work, and now I got to go and actually work on this, because this is a miniature set piece for a alien mushroom forest for Escape from Planet Omega 12.
I keep telling you, you make the most Freudian fucking sci-fi I've ever seen.
It just happens. I don't even try. It just happens. But it's like every time I try and not do it, it happens anyway. But by the way, check this out. Like, we'll come back to this another time. I just saw a trailer for a movie called The Quantum Devil, and it's like they saw the Quantum Terror and just
exactly. It popped into my head when I saw it too, and I'm like, Man,
It's like
you're stealing from my friend.
I am setting a trend as I was destined to do. I am a troublemaker. You know it. Anyway, love you guys. Have a good weekend and happy post Thanksgiving.
Bye. Have a safe Black
Take care,
Friday.
guys.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. And
Hey,
just to
before.
prove, we have our own Black Friday right here. There he is.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, boss, before
more like a
you
Sunday.
tackle the comments,
Yeah.
we need to play this.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
By the way, I wanted to mention something that he is right about Monty Python and the Holy Grail. There are only 4 really funny scenes. I think there are funny scenes in it too, but the 4, and I guarantee you I know, is the bridge scene, the dead scene. Let's see, the French night scene.
The witch.
The what?
The witch.
No, I don't
Come
think
on,
that
man.
one's as funny.
You don't like the
I think
one
it's a
with the
funny
bunny?
scene, but the what? Oh, the
The
bunny
one-
scene.
the bunny?
That one's one of my favorites. But there is a 4th one that are the funniest in the film. And I forgot what the 4th one is. And but the rest of them are all funny. I disagree with them. The movie is still funny, but there are 4 great comical moments in that movie.
Yeah.
But getting back to it, let's get to these comments. And I do agree, guys. A common deception, male feminist. Yes, absolutely. It's false. It's fake. James Cameron is one of the worst womanizers in the history of Hollywood. He's a male feminist. I'm glad there are feminist men out there. More ladies for me. Hell yeah. You damn Skippy. Although, again, I want to point out, most of these guys that claim that are womanizers. Once you went through Gary's back door, you never go back. Let's see. Somebody get Gary a back door. Wow, we got some backdoor references, Martin. You gotta
Oh,
play
yeah.
us a video. Play us 2 videos real quick.
Wait.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Not gonna say another damn word.
Go.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges, I'll show you my key.
Maybe we can get in through the back door.
Yeah, I love that one. Let's see. Video games make more than movies do now. That's been up for a while, since the 2000s. And they're just a money-making machine. And that's why I have a problem with some of the prices they charge. I feel like video game companies are gouging us at the cash register. And but they do. And I like their stories too, a lot of the time. What, Martin?
Did you hear now for GTA 6, they are trying to promote that you pay by the hour.
That's a terrible fucking idea. It's gouging. It's more gouging. Video games are slightly more desired because of the mental health crisis. They keep the mind active and distracted. I absolutely agree with you there. It helped a lot with my PTSD, having video games. Reality fucking gay. Y'all are fun. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoy our humor here. I really do. It's so large he can whip it around the back and over his shoulder. I think that Reed's talking about you, Keith.
No, he's talking about Chris and his.
Oh, is that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
It's mushroom.
That fucking purple-headed monster behind him.
Wow.
Lady V Elements. I don't remember being a Toxic Tuesday. Was I there? I might have been. No, you were not there, Cal. I don't think you were. You were there previously, but I don't think you were here this last Tuesday. That was a fun show. We got to fix his camera situation because I want to get Keith on the show. He's out of sync. Yes, thank you, Cal.
Face.
You get it. Think about the kids. Because I said that. I threw that in there while Chris was going on his rant. Don't forget about the kids. This show at Cal, I wasn't at Toxic Tuesday. I don't even know what that is. Lady V, you need to start watching it. It's on Nick Weiser's channel on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Central Time. We have so much fun. I'm a regular guest on there. In fact, Nick always makes a point that when I can't be on the show, when the next time I'm on there, he talks about how much they miss me, and I'm like, I used to not believe him, but we really have a good time when I'm on there. We're just, and Brian and I and Tom and I, we'll go at it and just start just hitting on something and just having a blast acting gay, and that's just it.
Wow.
Tim?
Lady V Elements also Wu-Tang Killer Bees on the prowl.
Yeah.
You had me at Wu-Tang. Kingsport Cal. Oh, Toxic Tuesday is a show. 32. Yeah, that's it. I try to be on there more because he wants me on there in every show, but it depends on my work schedule. And also when I was out in the dining room, I can't be on there because everybody goes to bed and I'm loud. And here I'm back in the garage, which is why I'm wearing the tent, as Stephen put it, because it's fucking cold in here. But I got to tell you, I have the freedom to be able to talk out here, so I can be on Toxic Tuesdays now.
Not just cool.
I miss doing that show. When I'm not on there, I miss it. What?
Lady V says that you're in an isolation tank.
I like that idea. Why? Read by Nature says, who could do with doing dark for a generation?
Doctor
Look,
Who could do.
I am all for putting things into moratorium. Like, remember back when Disney would do that, put things in the vault?
Yeah.
And then bring it back 10, 20 years later, and it just sells like gangbusters? That's what you do. It's smart. Introduce a whole new generation to it. Let's see. Don't you say an unkind word about Dollywood. I would never would it. I never would. I love Dollywood. I love Dolly. By the way, has anybody bought her new album? I know Scott has. I've listened to everything on there. This shit's good. This is a good album. And I'm guessing this is her planned final album and tour. I think it's great. I love Dolly. Keith and I live right next to Branson. Branson's a lot more popular than the left likes to admit to.
It is, but it's not more popular than Universal. Branson's got to get that through their head. They cannot compete with Universal, nor the new Universal Park being opened up in Texas. That is going to rule when they open up.
I agree. I agree. You're totally right. Kingsport Cal, New York is look, it's a shithole. It's no better than Hollywood. It's not. You need the new independent Hollywood to be on the East Coast, but in the southern part of the country. North Carolina is a great place for running studios. Even fucking crazy old De Laurentiis understood that.
Yep.
The problem was he did it at the wrong time. And he tried to compete with a monster that he couldn't compete with. And it killed his studio. Let's see. We've got, what's the next comment? Lady V. Dolly has done so much for Tennessee. Has to be nationally recognized. She fought the fires, then the floods, funded the whole state, and still has time to entertain. And I love her. I love Dolly, man.
Who doesn't like Dolly?
And I'm not saying that just because of her gigantic tits. I'm not.
Oh my God.
That didn't matter to me until I hit my teens, but I was a fan of hers when I was a kid. And then when I hit my teens, I'm like, oh, now I get her. And then later, I'm like, I stopped caring, and I was back to just loving her. And I think she's wonderful. I really do. Let's see. What's the next one? Kingsport Cal. Yeah, and this is Read by Nature. I'd say Star Wars going away for 10 years is yes. This is what I keep saying. People keep saying Star Wars is dead. People keep saying Doctor Who is dead. Keep saying Star Trek is dead. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Current.
You still have the original. It's just the current is dead. It's dead to me. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to watch it. I watched season 1 of Strange New Worlds. They used some real science in there this time. Good for them. And they had one solid good film or episode and 2 halfway decent episodes. The rest was complete garbage. And we knew season 2 wasn't going to be any better. It was going to get worse because that's the way Alex Kurtzman does things. He says, we got to take all the things that they liked out of this, the good nerds. We got to get rid of them. We don't want them watching. then who's going to watch them? So fuck them. So yeah, I think 10 to 20 years is always good for a franchise or a intellectual property. I don't want to use the word franchise. IP. I heard. What is FNAF?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, okay. It has some cheesy moments in it, but it's good fun. This is proof that PG-13 horror works if it's done right. And there's no blood in it. There's references to blood. You see the shadow of blood, but really on camera, you don't see it. And I like that. You see a person get bit in half by their shadow. You don't actually see it. You see the shadow of it. So I think they did a good job. I enjoyed it. It was fun to see Matthew Lillard. And that kid, I like that kid. I really do like the kid that plays the main character.
Matthew West.
He did that show on Hulu. You're talking at the same time as me, Martin, so I didn't hear what you said.
That Matthew was the best part of that movie.
Lillard? Yeah, he was. I liked him. But I do like the fact that that kid was on that show on Hulu, the sci-fi show. It's like it was a parody of Time Cop. And that was a good show. And I hated
Future Man.
the end of it. Yeah, Future Man, because his name is Futterman, but he's Future Man. And I love the fact that they shit on James Cameron so much on that show. Just shit on him and his bad science fiction. But yeah, absolutely agree, Lady V. It's cheesy, but it's a cheesy that was fun. Let's see. Good for, probably never watch it though. Look, if you give it a chance, I think you might enjoy it, Cal. I think you might. Read by Nature, yeah. I'm just talking live action. Keep doing other things. Yeah. And of course, our dear friend Tim. I'm here. Where's my video? He played it for you, bitch. Stop complaining. I'm teasing Tim. Please don't go.
That was so much time ago.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know, because you guys keep me from reading these. Thanksgiving after the leftovers. I hope everybody too. And by the way, we love you, Muslim Uncle. I love so many of his posts over on Twitter. What a great guy. And Black Mirror is, or as I refer to it as, checkbox Twilight Zone.
Wow.
Because look, they do actually have some good stories. But
yeah,
Keith, you remember what my least favorite episode was, right? The Star Trek episode.
Mm-hmm.
The guy goes into a game and they have avatars. And the avatars, these aren't fucking real people. They're avatars.
They murder him.
More rights to happiness than him. And they turn him into a vegetable. And that's a good ending where you punish the nerd who was bullied because he creates fake people so he can get his revenge on them.
It's not even that.
That's a fucked up story.
It's that he creates fake people with their DNA, which makes no sense.
What do you need their DNA for? It was the dumb premise. Dumb.
Oh, you mean like the average current CBS Paramount Trek?
Oh, you mean like CBS's Twilight Zone, the new one? That
yeah.
It was so badly written. Oh, look, it's Brian.
The stream isn't nearly gay enough.
Brian.
Thank you for
Brian.
What do you mean there's only 4 funny scenes in Holy Grail? What about the Marxist peasants? The Marxist peasants, for instance.
Oh my God. Prepare to fight.
There are 4 great comical scenes. But the entire film is funny. But there are 4 great comical moments.
That's like saying there's only one naked scene in a porno. What the hell?
That's right.
No, there's one great naked scene in a porno film. The phrasing is important here.
I mean, I said porno, not gay porno.
The whole Marxist peasants in the mud is one of the funniest things in history.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
Who lives in yonder castle? What do you mean? And then off they go.
I didn't vote for you.
Nobody lives in it. Well, who's your lord? We don't have a lord.
How old were you, Brian, when you realized what the French John Cleese? I love John Cleese shitting on the French when he does the French accent. When he did it with Meaning of Life and Holy Grail, I just love it. But how old were you when you realized what you silly knigget meant?
Oh, straight away. I mean, when I saw the movie,
Really? I didn't fucking understand that till I was like 16. And I went, oh, he's saying night.
Yeah. Well, when I went to see it, I saw
knigget?
it in the cinema when it came out. Was it 74, 75, whatever? I don't know. And I was only about 10, 11, 12 years old.
Well, you were
lapped it
living
up.
in Great Britain, so
Yeah, I mean, I was used to Monty Python and whatever, but even the opening credit, the opening scenes crack me up where they're doing this Norwegian dance music or something.
Oh my God, yeah. And talking about the moose.
Yeah, we've sacked the whole people responsible for that, and then it's even the opening credits are just a masterpiece in their own right.
Yeah, it's a
Pleasures of the Dance, a collection of the Finnish folk music or something. Carpenter's music.
This is going to sound like an outlandish take, but I think that the whole style of Monty Python, I think, died with Little Britain. I think that's where it actually died out. Little Britain, you know what I mean? We don't see that anymore. Little Britain was, I think, their precipice before, and it's hard getting that shit out here anymore.
Yeah,
the guys who do
comedy's changed.
Number 9, that show, they had a previous series that takes place in a village, which when you watch it, even though it's kind of horror thriller, there's Monty Python in that.
Okay.
There is. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's the guys who do Room Number 9. Let me look it up real quick.
I mean, times change and things move on. There's still lots of Python influences in things, but it's as I think you're right.
Inside
Stephen,
Number 9.
Nobody can sustain a whole show like that now.
It's Steve Pemberton and Reese Shearsmith.
Now, Gary,
I love it when they work together. Called the League of Gentlemen series. The League of Gentlemen.
Oh, League of Gentlemen. Yeah, okay, I've seen that.
Very much.
I didn't know their names.
Because if you really pay attention to Monty Python, there's a horror aspect to it, especially when they go over the top with like the whole Sam Peckinpah. If Sam Peckinpah made Upstairs Downstairs, did you ever see that on Monty Python? And the piano slams on the guy's hands and gets the hands off, and blood starts spraying everywhere.
But even
I was 8 years old watching that, and it was a fucking nightmare. For me.
Even the League of Gentlemen is getting on a bit now. I mean, it's not brand new, is it? I mean, it's quite.
Oh no, that was back in the 90s, dude. When it started.
That's so. Steven said it's tough to. There's no shows
they ran
like
it
that
all
now.
the way to 2017. They did seasons, spread it out, and the final season was in 17. But it still had that little bit left in it of Monty Python. But Monty Python is kind of dead to people now. And I don't think some of these young people, I'm not saying they're stupid, but I don't think they're smart enough to understand Monty Python.
They're not smart enough to even understand what sarcasm is, and the fact that making fun of us is to make us take a step back. They don't understand comedy, period, because everything that's offensive to them automatically means an attack on their character. And we've been dealing with that for the last 5 years. It's just content
everything's
created.
taken at face value by these
Comedy
people. They don't understand satire,
if you don't match the skin color, you're not going to get the joke.
Irony, metaphors, satire.
Comedy always needs to be offensive.
Yeah,
to somebody.
I do have a question for Gary. I have a question for Gary though. Have you watched Beacon 23? Like I said last week, did you give it a shot?
What one?
Beacon 23.
I actually did add it to my queue, and I plan to watch it this weekend.
Okay,
Anima. She and I are going to watch together.
Cool.
British horror comedy I always recommend Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
I like that. But it's so obscure because I watched it on Comedy Central, or I'm sorry, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. It would just appear every once in a while on a Friday. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I just sat and was addicted to that.
Did you guys
explain to people what it is?
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place is a show from the 1980s written by the fictional author Garth Marenghi. Was it Matt Berry, and was it the guy from the IT Crowd? They're both in it as well. And
Chris O'Dowd?
I think that might be his name. The nerd one in the IT Crowd.
Because young people didn't like it, and it was it's still referred to as Britain's most unpopular comedy.
Which one?
Is Marenghi's.
Oh.
Yeah, Gary Rogers started. Basically, he's like a Stephen King or one of those super pulp writers. Like he's written like 1 billion books, and has these idiosyncrasies that like he hates women and everything else. So it's the fictional character presenting the series he made in the 1980s, and talking about how
it's sort of a look back.
Yeah, look back on what it is, and the fact that like they'll have things where they admit that it's like, yeah, the producer may have beaten a child. It's like I had to excuse it away.
By the way, Martin, you missed your video time. You're supposed to.
No,
do it 15 minutes ago.
I am trying unsuccessfully, might I add, to remind you of that. But all of you are on a roll, so I thought it was rude to interrupt you.
No, I think you need to do it. Go ahead, dude. Play it.
No, I don't want to now.
Minefield stuff. Hi. I just had my bar mitzvah.
So gay.
Okay, let's start this off with this comment. John Ranger Power is here. And he says, Pop Culture Minefield, hello. Gary, Keith, Fat Steve. He said Far Steven.
Far Steve.
Martin,
that is.
Shed and all, and happy Black Friday. Thank you for recognizing this Black holiday.
It should be called Reparation Friday.
Hope everyone is well despite the passing of a local weather anchor, Steve Poole, 2 days ago. I'm sorry to hear that, Don. I hope they have a new weatherman and aren't just keeping the camera on him. Scotland had that problem. They had a TV show host die right on TV. Remember that shit when you were young, Brian?
No.
Do you have a fear of potatoes?
He would wear the fez hat and he fucking walked out.
It was Tommy Cooper.
Yeah, had a fucking heart attack, massive heart attack, not just a heart attack.
He wasn't Scottish, though.
Massive Widowmaker.
But I don't. It wasn't Scottish though. Tommy Cooper.
Oh, well, it was told.
It was all like that, just like that.
Craig Ferguson talked about seeing it when he was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, it was on British television. We had the same television as England.
Yes.
You all sound.
I didn't say English.
Exactly. It's Eric Morecambe, famous British comedian, died on stage in front of the audience in a tour he was talking to. He died right on stage. Yeah, poor bugger.
See, I think comedy can be healed. We just need another Michael Jackson to come to fruition. Then everyone can attack Michael Jackson like they did before.
Yeah, you need that one person that everybody can love to hate.
Yeah,
we all agree. We hate him.
By the way, I think Far Steve would be a great name for a science fiction television show.
Yeah,
based around Fat Steven exploits in space.
Every ship that gets close to my gravitational pull disappears. Yeah,
that's
exactly
it. So I think Far Steve should be the show.
Yeah, Far Steve.
You're saying that you would make your pole disappear every episode?
Only in your mouth.
Is there a black hole involved?
It's a black hole.
Oh yeah, the Black Pole Sun. Yes, Black Pole Sun. Won't you come? Won't you come?
Well,
Keith, don't worry.
Ranger Power says Steve Poole was the former chief meteorologist at Seattle's Como 4. I used to watch Como television. Yeah, back when I lived in
when
Seattle.
You were Comatose.
There's something crazy.
Well, very cool. Up there for King County.
Very cool.
Have you guys watched any of Richard Jeni? I suggest if you have time today, like when the show's over, is watch Richard Jeni's A Big Steaming Pile of Me, because
that was a good one. That was his last.
He nailed everything that's going on now years ago and how much worse it's gotten now, and it's crazy.
That was one of the saddest days, dude, when he committed suicide.
Yep. Yeah, he was actually the co-star with Jim Carrey for The Mask. He was the bank buddy.
Yeah. I loved Richard Jeni. I love a Family Guy gag.
He was Duckman.
Where Peter's having a sexy dream and Lois is listening. Oh, Jenny, I love it when you do that. Oh, you're the best, Richard Jeni. You're just the best. Now get naked. Captain Gary Picard, there are 4 gags. That's for Monty Python.
Better than Force Swallow.
Look, again, I don't completely agree with Chris on that. I think that the whole movie is funny. And absolutely my favorite thing to this day is the whole rabbit thing.
Thing's vicious.
The holy hand grenade.
What? Just off the top of my head, Burn the Witch.
Oh, Bad
Black
Newt.
Knight.
Naughty Newt.
Black Knight. You know, it's only a scratch.
Oh my God, that is it. That was the fourth one. For the greatest scenes, there are 4 great scenes in that film. Absolute great, perfect scenes. The Black Knight is my favorite.
Black Knight's everybody's favorite.
Somebody bought the Black Knight where he's standing with his sword model kit, but it's the torso and the 4 limbs on the ground next to the model kit. This is for all you Monty Python fans. You'll get this.
Wow.
I thought it was great. The model kit just sitting there with the limbs around it.
I once saw that figure, but
It's a
the
flesh
limbs
wound. It's merely a flesh wound.
the limbs are attached with magnets.
Actually, my favorite gag in the entire movie is the Terry Gilliam cameo when it seemed all hope was lost. The animator had a sudden heart attack. You see Terry Gilliam die, and then Carol vanished.
The animator saw it.
And again, to make sure that YouTube bans us
Get
a little
on
more,
with
here's
it.
our thumbnail for today. Just remember, @2 Kathleen, and then of course, this is so much fun. And then you got Filoni going, "Can I join in, guys? I want to stab George Lucas too." There you go.
And we have War Monkey among us.
Hell.
And but anyway, look, do we still need to shit on Dave Filoni? Are we?
No,
done?
his wife does enough for him.
He enjoys
Yeah,
it too much.
we can move on to
That
Pedro
multicolored
Pascal.
hair.
She looks like a Wish version of the Misery chick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that honestly. I don't care.
We can move on to Pedro Pascal and shit on him for a while.
No, I'd rather not. Last of Us is already gonna do that for him.
Yo, come
What
on,
is
man.
this, Brian?
I love that.
It's a Holy Grail thing. It's a Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
What is this?
What is?
Get on with it.
Stop that! It's silly. Very silly.
You know what Hollywood needs? The trout slap. One.
Oh,
big trout
God,
slap. Yeah. This is one. Yeah.
And then it ends up in the canal.
And even though it's not Monty Python, it's still from Monty Python.
You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English, giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole.
What?
You're true Vulgarian.
Don't forget the coconuts. That's also one of my favorite things. Just the very beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, because they couldn't afford horses, so
Well-
they turned it into a gag.
African or European.
Yep. And it goes.
They only had one castle for the whole movie, shot from different angles.
I've been to that castle also.
Have you? That's a pilgrimage I've always wanted to do. And I never got to do.
But it's a funny movie. There's that whole peasants in the mud bit. Now we see the violence inherent in the system. We take it in turns to be a sort of executive officer.
I'm being oppressed. Help! I'm being oppressed.
Bloody peasants. Dead giveaway.
Oh God, the best scene of genocide in cinema history, the Tale of Sir Lancelot. He just goes through the wedding murdering everyone.
That's right, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Well, that used to be the opening of this show, and I had to stop. And there's still, YouTube is still claiming videos back for 2 years.
Huge tracts of land.
From Monty Python.
She's got
See,
huge
I thought your
tracts of
son
land.
was a lady. I understand that.
And then the whole Michael Palin in the women castle full of women, which is one of the most surreal scenes in the whole thing.
Oh, you're in
Yeah,
too
but it
much
was
peril.
great though.
A spanking.
And then the oral sex.
Because he's supposed to be chased. It's just funny. It's just everything's absurd about it. It's wonderful. And then the modern police following them. It's detectives full.
Yeah.
Hey Tim, I just saw this, and I gotta like this because he points out the Knee River here, and then says this on there. I've raised my daughter correctly. She was raised on Monty Python. Okay. And
Food
she
would have
still
been
will
more
walk around-
appropriate, Gary. Food would have been better.
I know, but she still somehow made it. But she will walk around every once in a while and just blurt out like something from Monty Python. And one of my favorites, she was just sitting here, we are the knights who say me. And then she'll do the other one.
The shrubbery.
And then trails off at the end.
For Ollie Biscuit Barrel.
I was
They used that one
looking
in
for
live as well. That phrase for tang, Ollie Biscuit Barrel kept reappearing in things for some reason on their live shows.
And people, that's funny.
The live shows are great. If you ever see the Monty Python live at Drury Lane,
Hollywood
album,
Bowl was
and the Hollywood Bowl. There's and the Drury Lane ones are brilliant. Just so much different extra material that wasn't in the other stuff. And the books. If you ever read the Monty Python books, brilliant. Tons of extra material.
Wait a minute. What? There are
Tis the
books?
Yeah, there's loads of Monty Python books. They issued albums and books all through the 70s.
Now, I've got albums. I've gotten the cassettes. Like, my favorite is the Contractually Obligated album, which has the name Toad the Wet Sprocket on it. And it's true, the band Toad the Wet Sprocket took their name from Monty Python.
That's right.
One of
Now,
their
is that the
gags.
one with the Piranha Brothers on it? I can never remember what's on which album.
Yeah. Piranha Brothers.
Yeah.
How do you know he's a king? He's not covered in shit.
That's right.
That is how you can tell.
I'm not dead yet.
Oh my god. I'm feeling better.
You'll be stone dead in a minute.
Oh my god. Sadly, I left London just as Spamalot was premiering with Tim Curry.
Oh.
By the way, does anybody else? I love Tim Curry. I grew up on Tim Curry, man.
Oh, he's
I
great.
like Tim Curry on my rice. I'm a big Indian food fan. And Tim Curry is just one of the funniest dudes. I love everything. I even love him in the movie Oscar with Stallone.
Yeah.
That movie tanked. I own that movie because I love it because
I
Tim
kind of
Curry
like
is
that.
so
I like
fucking
that
good.
movie. Yeah,
I do
like that
too.
movie.
I think it's hilarious.
He was also great in The Shadow.
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Harley
but
Granger.
I see all these photos of people taken with him, and I just think elder abuse for some reason, and it bugs me, and I don't know why.
Elderberry.
I know it's
Elderberry
probably
abuse.
because of my medical background, but and I'm not making a joke here. I'm being sincere here, because he's a stroke victim and he's in a wheelchair, and he looks miserable. He doesn't look happy.
Well,
And
He
it
gets
just
paid for
freaks me
that.
out.
I mean, he's on. I've seen videos.
I
of
like
him
that
eating it.
part of it, but it's still kind of I don't know, man. It just bugs me. What's that? Toxic Love from Fern Gully? What?
You know,
What's that?
Clue alone is the reason I love Tim Curry. Like that was my first.
Oh my
big,
god, it's the
like,
Butler? Hell yeah. And the multiple
He's great in
endings.
everything he's ever done.
legend. He's the inspiration for Ganon.
Yeah.
He is so good as Darkness in that movie.
Oh, jeez, he's so
You know, he's so good when he has to go over the top. And that character is so over the top that with that costume by Rob Bottin again, Rob Bottin nailed it with Darkness, man. What a costume.
Well,
I
having
did
to
not
perform
know
in
that was
that.
Tim Curry. I had no
Yeah.
clue until the end.
His performance is even better because he was blind the entire time. Those contacts they put in, he couldn't
Yeah, those
see out of
lenses.
them.
And the hoops that he had to wear and how tall it made him. I mean, he's acting through all of that. And that is one of those performances that looking back at it, he should have at least gotten something out of that. Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody could be made up like that and give a performance like that.
You look at Louis Gossett Jr. and those lenses he had to wear, and they caused permanent scarring on his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up getting a lawsuit awarded to him for that,
Mm-hmm.
as I recall, right?
I think
the
that was Gary's.
You know, those
Enemy
old
mine.
days, man. These weren't medical people making these lenses that they were putting in their fucking eyes. You know, good God, that shit was dangerous.
That was for the movie Enemy Mine. So
Yep, Enemy Mine with
Dennis
Quaid. But speaking of Dennis Quaid, how about Randy Quaid? Because just all of a sudden on Facebook and on YouTube, I got hit by a slew of conspiracy videos. And one of them that got brought back up was Randy Quaid. And you start looking back with the shit that's going on in Hollywood right now, and the weird shit with Jamie Foxx and the weird shit with Matthew Perry and the connections to certain people. And you look back at what Randy Quaid was saying in those videos, you're like, maybe he wasn't crazy. Has anybody else been seeing these videos popping up?
Dude.
I'm like, at first, like, are these AI videos? No, these are real.
Dude,
I was
I've been dealing
tripping
with that shit when it was Alex Jones talking about how there was a bunch of rich people flying to an island that was owned by a billionaire and have sex with underage girls. And that was a crazy conspiracy theory until it wasn't.
My problem is he'd said something about two things, 9/11 and the school shooting. And I never listened to another thing he said, ever. I still won't listen to him because of what he did. And, but I look, now I see stuff where he has talked about stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I had gone and listened to him and on some of this stuff. But once I lose respect for you, it's gone. It's hard to get back. And I lost respect for him when he did that shit.
Well, part of his problem is he literally has brain damage because when he was in high school, someone literally, what was it, wrestling move, literally slammed his head against the ground.
He had brain trauma.
Yeah, he literally actually has mental
TBI.
issues.
Yeah.
Which does explain his personality. I'm not saying
well, it's like the time he was with Joe Rogan and he says he wanted to get choked out. Does anybody else remember that crazy shit?
Yeah,
I laughed my ass off when somebody finally did. A wrestler fucking grabbed him, or it might have been a pro fighter, grabbed him and knocked him out. And he was completely unaware that he was unconscious on camera. He goes, well, what happened? He goes, you were out, dude. and he got excited by that. And I'm like, what? Who the fuck gets excited by that? A buddy of mine did that to me back in 7th grade. Because I was like, what's the sleeper hold? And he goes, here, I'll show you. And I let him put me in a sleeper hold and it knocked me out. And when I started coming to it, I'm like, holy shit. And everybody's laughing, you know, and I'm like, wow, dude, that was crazy. I didn't want to ever have it happen to me
TV.
again.
Somebody did that on TV once. Some wrestler.
Oh, they
somebody
did that
out.
to, was it Geraldo? No.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
It was Geraldo. I think it was
Choked someone
Geraldo.
out on screen and
put him on
yeah.
a sleeper. Yeah, he put him in a sleeper hold and knocked him out. And Geraldo earned it. Every single reporter who confronted wrestlers got what they deserved, using the word fake. You know, it's not fake. It's entertainment. Yes, it's planned, but there's a skill that's involved in there, and people get fucked. These are highly paid stuntmen doing crazy shit where they know they can get hurt or killed doing it. So using the word fake is the wrong fucking thing to say to a wrestler.
Yep.
Oh,
and even I
man.
knew that as a kid. I knew it was
If you ever
staged.
have a chance, Bill Maher, when Roddy Piper was on it, he tears the shit into Bill.
I loved Roddy Piper. And by the way, one of the directors I've done a lot of work with, he and I had planned, because he was close friends with the family, Roddy Piper's family. I said, I have always wanted to do a story about him, his life story, because it's intense what happened to him in his life. And there's a secret about him. A lot of people don't know that he was secretly gay. And he hid that from the public. And just a fascinating guy.
I'm so glad you don't do that, Gary, that you're out in the open.
You're very
I am out in the open. I'm proud. And, you know, somebody said, you know, they hated that I do the gay jokes. They actually told that. And I said, why? This is, well, you're not gay. I said, prove it. Prove I'm not gay.
Yeah. You can identify as anything you want.
Goddamn right. Prove I'm not gay. And it stumped them. They just stopped talking. And I'm like, that was an easy fight to win. I'm like, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I'm alive. You know,
They just
'cause
got
I've
their
always
ass
said
beat by a gay man.
I was playing on Xbox one night. This really happened on Xbox, and I've got friends that were there that heard this entire conversation. This guy hated me so much, and he called me a cocksucker during the game. And I got real quiet after the game was over, and I there was a silent moment, and I went, you know what, man? I have done portraits of movie stars, political figures. I have worked on sculptures that are in DC and New York City. I have painted movie posters and portraitures of just some of the most lovely locations. I suck one cock, and what do you call me?
Political insider.
That's right.
We're getting gayer. But we ain't gay enough.
Oh my God. But we're winding down to the end of the show. This is the last quarter of the show. What do we want to talk about? Because I'm Filoni'd out. I don't even want to talk about Russell P. Davies and his bullshit this week. Fuck that guy. I lost all respect for him this week. All respect.
Silent Hill has
I
a
had
project.
respect for him.
Silent Hill.
What happened?
Anybody else want to tell him?
The Fantastic Four film's going to be completely trashed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really that look, Kevin Feige, if he's not already on his way out, there will be a lot more calls for him to just do something else for the rest of his life. He's going to do this.
Yeah,
he's going to.
This all ended in 2019 for him.
Yeah.
I have something we can talk about. There's actually something going on that's interactive TV, and it's an actual series that's going to be going on for the next 6 months. And you can participate every Wednesday. The episodes go for an hour long. It's all CGI done, and it's a Silent Hill Ascension. So literally, you're choosing the outcome of the characters within this TV series that they do every week.
It's an abomination.
So what you select?
Okay, it's not an abomination.
1 week,
okay?
it's put into the next week. Is that how they?
No,
do
you
it?
watch it live every week and participate as it's live, and you make decisions to see how the cast goes, and it's all CGI. It's not
Yeah,
abomination.
but that's only on your viewing, not on the other people.
Everybody is in the chat at the same time when it goes live.
I don't know how that's going to work.
It's already working. They're already like 5 episodes in, and it's like an interactive television.
Yep, after dark. Thank you.
But
Keep
that's
going,
something
Steven.
people can take a look at, because we're all talking about looking for new content. That they're doing something totally different. They're actually creating a 6-month series of Silent Hill where the audience is actually involved through their phone app, and you can watch it online for free.
Wouldn't it be good if they could
No
get
one's
to
at-
vote
okay.
on whether somebody gets executed or something, or on their phone?
If only I cared.
Remember Terry Gilliam?
Yeah, it's
Gilliam's
sort of
Brazil.
like you think about it, Brian. This could backfire
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
Terry Gilliam's Brazil had covered that years ago. Everything was done by people. There was a TV, but they got to vote on everything.
Oh, but I know, but I'm just saying it's an actual. You go look it up. Ascension. It's literally like, I'm
heard
not
of it,
saying it's a
yeah.
bad thing, but it's something to give a shot. Like, we're looking at different ways of digging into horror and science fiction. It's there. It's not like it's
True,
going to
yeah.
save the world. That's it.
Well, I'm not knocking it, mate.
No, I don't think you're knocking.
Sounds
No,
interesting.
no.
I
I know who's knocking.
I thought he was knocking.
Shots
I'm
to
a
your
little
opinion
surprised
doesn't
to find out
matter
you
to
weren't
me.
knocking
Okay,
it.
like other people's.
What is happening here?
What? I've played.
I love
Silent
that
Hill
Fat
since the
Steven
first.
says words like people.
But have you looked at Ascension?
Yes, I saw the
Okay.
trailer.
And have you watched any of it?
I saw the trailer.
Have you watched any of it?
That's not Silent Hill. And oh, by the way, horror, yes, because horror works really well when I'm fucking Twitch voting for it.
Twitch. What do you
Buying
think with
season
Twitch. This has nothing to
passes.
do. There's not even Twitch related. What? It's not Twitch. I'm asking. You've watched the trailer, but have you watched the show? Have you even one 55-minute episode yet, or any of it?
Let me get this straight. You're asking me. I saw a trailer for something. Said that looks like shit. and
Okay, that's
then
cool.
If I decide to watch it anyways, hey,
That's what a
those
lot of us
Hitler
do for
movies-
content reviews, isn't it? That's a
I
lot
don't
of
do
them.
content reviews.
I know, but I'm saying in generalization. If you think it's shit, it's fine. I'm not picking a fight. But the trailers always are one thing. Actually seeing something is another. That's all I'm saying. We've all talked about this benefit of the doubt that sometimes we have to watch a product before we actually know. That's where I'm coming from, right? We've all discussed this. We've all used that as a point of view system, haven't we?
Konami does not know how to handle that series because all the people that were a part of those original teams, I'm not calling it Team Silent because that was a Konami marketing thing. It was Konami Team 3 and 4. They were the Z grade series that they didn't give a shit about.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons that the first one even happened in the first place, because Konami didn't really care. So they weren't overseeing it because they didn't care about the content as much. Ended up actually being a hit. Silent Hill 2. The big thing about it is that they keep trying to make Silent Hill into a big series. Silent Hill has never been a huge seller. It never will be.
It has a cult following, but it's a different way of trying to get people rather than using a pachinko machine, which is all we're getting from Silent Hill lately. And to be honest, Konami is in collaboration with GenVid Technologies and Behavior Interactive. So there's actually 3 involved. That's where I'm saying it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's something people should check out if we're looking for something
It's an approach. It's an
Yeah,
approach. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The concept is what I'm talking about. We have Silent Hill 2 also on. What, is that you? Do you have a soundboard now?
Who?
I heard bottoms up, or was that Keith?
Bottoms up.
That's you. It is you. It is you.
The soundboard for years. It's just...
Oh, Jane.
Yeah.
It's
a new trailer that I
out
saw
for decades now. Just let it end. Just let it end. The series was great. Let it go.
You don't. You have a remake coming. You have Silent Hill 2 coming out in a month or so.
By Bloober Team. Bloober Team is terrible.
Either way. Yeah, that's exactly right. Whoever's doing that squirt, yeah.
What? It's something I love, and I feel it being disrespected. That's all there is to it.
That's cool. I don't know why there's this awkwardness. I'm just at all.
What? They had this stupid arcade game, yes, because an atmospheric horror
Pachinko.
series should be an arcade shooter like House of the Dead. It's like no.
No. This awkward silence is brought to you by opposite opinions when it gets confused in the translation.
I have no opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm not expecting it, especially if you guys never were into that series. It's a cult horror.
No, I've
series.
never played any of the
Me
Silent
neither.
Hills. Never. No, never. I'm being fully facetious and sarcastic right now. Never played them. Nope. Never.
Oh,
I literally have never played them.
The soundtracks alone, for especially 2 and 3,
Anywho,
are amazing.
I've never played a video game in my life. Hi, Keith. Bye, Keith.
Keith.
Like it. Love very much.
How's Dublin doing, by the way? Is it okay now?
Well, the cold nights are a bit warmer because it's a nice open fire.
Oh, the right fires. I thought it was pretty warm.
I don't know what's happening there today.
Yeah. Well, at least there's no cars going airborne like Canada.
That's so funny. Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Funny that they used the Rainbow Bridge.
I know the most politically correct of bridges. So Gary,
Especially if your name's Jeff.
Yeah. It's the thing is that if you're going to blow that bridge up, you have to do it in 2 languages. You can't just blow it up in English.
I like how Gary's being very quiet and trying to find something else to distract them.
I'm tired of trying to talk.
Oh, okay.
Every single time I start to talk, somebody.
We didn't hear you.
See?
Well, you were going to wrap up, Gary, because I got to go anyway.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Gary?
Yeah, I just.
Gary, were you going to say something?
Fuck you, Brian.
What did Gary will say something?
I really think that Nick had a good time this last Tuesday, Brian. That
it was a fun
episode
show.
We did was just off the rails, man. We were just you and I with the knowledge.
That's what I'm aiming for every Toxic Tuesday show. I think sometimes we achieve it.
Fun.
Sometimes we achieve it. Sometimes we don't. But that was a good one, yeah.
My name is Bond. James
It
Bond.
reminds me of that one that I did with Tom, where Tom and I were just dominating. the show, just having a blast.
Which is
bringing
weird
out the
because you're
knowledge
so
and the jokes.
submissive
I'll be honest with
normally.
you, I'm kind of retarded.
I know. I like to get spanked, like Newt, naughty Newt, bad Newt.
Nope.
Again, that's a Monty
And next
Python
week will
reference,
be
Brian.
interesting because Dolly had braces. Right? It's going to be Moonraker, isn't it, next week? Dolly had braces. I don't
Yes,
care
it
what
is.
anyone says. Shove your Mandela effect up your
I
arse.
remember that too.
She had braces.
I remember it
She
too.
had
It's like,
braces.
what the fuck?
That was the whole point.
That's how they related, metal teeth and braces, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the whole point. Everyone talked about it at the time after seeing the movie. Oh, no, you're all imagining things. False memory. Bullshit. It happened. I mean, yes, reality may have changed, but she had braces. I'll die on that hill. That silent hill.
I haven't talked very much over the last hour. I've been letting other
Thank God
people
for
talk.
that.
I've been reading, actually, because there's a new trailer that just came out. I saw it today on Twitter for Netflix. It's a new action show about this team, only team in the world that can like defuse a bomb or something. And there's a nuke in Las Vegas, and they successfully supposedly dismantle this bomb and decide to go get bombed in Las Vegas while they're there. And it's absolutely a checkbox movie. You know, it's supposedly like edgy humor, but it's clearly each character is a diverse character. Okay. But at the same time, they're trying to make an edgy movie with a diverse cast. And I'm not sure it works for me. And I watched it, and the entire premise is they get fucked up going out on the town and then get a call from the terrorist who says, you didn't dismantle the bomb. It goes off in 24 hours. And it's a nuclear bomb in Las Vegas.
Well, do you know what
they're
the
drunk
solution is?
and high and have to go solve the problem. And I'm just like, nothing sounds interesting about this to me.
I wouldn't dismantle the bomb. I would just move it to LA.
But it's someplace that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't take it out of Vegas.
You know,
Vegas
it's
is
a real
worth preserving. Yeah.
Basically, Los
Benefits
Angeles is the
entertainment.
United States Catman. Again, talking over me. I don't know what you said. What did you say, Shinatsky?
I said, just send it to Buena Vista Entertainment. Problem solved.
Yeah. Well, what I was trying to say is that Los Angeles has become America's Kathmandu.
Mm-hmm. I still like
More of a Kathmandu at this stage. Kathmandu.
Chinafornia.
Chinafornia, yeah. The Meowvilles, yes, or whatever they're calling it. It is. It's China East, isn't it? Really, it's worse than that. Even I mean, what is it really? What is California now? I mean,
Well,
there's bits of
eventually-
it are still great, but other bits are like.
You know that earthquake will happen, right? It'll just pop off and it'll slowly float towards China, and then they'll be all together as one, like Highland.
It's true. They are.
And
at the
all the
forefront.
homeless will be on that.
Yeah.
The homeless will be caught up in that little wave that goes over.
Are you sure? I think Newsom will hire them, Gary, to paddle California faster to China. I think they'll be like, all right, you guys get on one side and start paddling. We need to move now.
I think they're participating in a great social experiment, and they're at the forefront of it. We'll see how that turns out.
What, driving your population out?
Or whatever they're doing, all the shit that they pass day after day.
They've killed their
they're
economy,
insane.
and all the industry is leaving California or left.
But they're at the forefront of a massive social experiment. They believe that's the way the world should be. So let's see how that works out.
Have you guys seen the pictures coming like from Tennessee and other places where Targets and Walmarts, every item that's for sale is now behind a locked case because of all the people robbing and looting?
Yeah.
And then people are like going, it's so sad here. I'm like, wow, this place looks like a jewelry store, but that's underwear and it's locked. So
There's video too of guys walking up and kicking those cases to knock them open.
Well, there's
I'm
other
telling you,
places
this
where
is
they've just got a photograph of the item.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. You want this? Go talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, hey, maybe I'll just buy it online then. Yeah.
You notice how they never rob a Hot Topic? Isn't that funny?
No.
No.
The birth control's always left behind. You notice? They never rob that.
And you never
Every
see
time
them
I drive
steal
through LA,
food. They're always stealing TVs.
Yeah.
Game
Nobody ever
system,
steals the
TV.
educational items in stores.
Yeah, nobody ever steals from the educational aisle.
The books. Nobody steals the books.
The books.
Don't
School
worry,
supplies, nobody touches it.
all the leapfrogs are safe.
The people
Nobody
are broke. Yes, King Sport Cal says people are broke, so fuck it.
Okay, you keep saying this word and it throws me. What's a book?
A buke. It's a buke. I'm going to rebuke you for your use of the book. It's a boke or whatever. It's a boke. You're giving me the boke. That's
Hey,
for sure.
look who's here.
Hey, Arwen is here.
The
Hi,
buke.
hi. I've got the
A book.
vapors.
A book.
Let's just say when after.
And by the way, Parrot Head's here. If you guys didn't know that.
Let me hear what I say here.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Now, didn't I say that perfectly?
Yeah, you did, George.
The elocution was perfect.
You think this year was?
I want to hear you say something. Let's hear you say something.
That's it.
Brian.
Show's over.
You think everything with
I
Disney?
told you I was going
News-
to clip that.
If you guys think everything with Disney news coming out is going to this year has been crazy, the build up till next year is going to be a lot worse. Trust me, the political infusion is going to make it crazy.
Next year.
Have your popcorn ready. It's going to be the literal definition of a shit show.
It's going to be off the hook next year. Things.
I can't wait, man. I can't
definitely.
wait. End of Western civilization.
You know, well, we're already being pointed at. The next thing they'd be like, okay, we're done with the West. Can we just nuke all of them and get rid of them? We're tired of those SJWs.
70s. Remember when they said rock and roll was going to be the end of Western civilization? And they were
That's
wrong.
true.
It was
And they were
communist.
right. Well, maybe they were right, though. You think about it.
I am not showing that picture, Parrot Head. No.
I'm looking for the clip of Gary now. I don't know what I did with it. Never mind.
What clip?
Yeah.
Oh, I found it. I found the clip of you.
Thank you, God.
I need someone to show it, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you cocksucker.
I recorded that. And it went, I recorded about an hour of it, but I only clipped it to just a short.
You pulled an RMB there.
I waited for you, you son of a bitch.
I got on this thing and he's like,
waited.
And he was actually snoring. You were snoring. I didn't have the heart to wake you up.
I was so fucking tired, dude. And I stayed up to wait for you, and you fucking do that, you bastard. That's what friends are for, man.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's like, you know, dick facing people at parties when they are dumb enough to fall asleep at a party. It's just, I think the funniest dick facing I ever did. Mac and I did this. I just talked to Mac last night. Mac and I went to this bar that was built in an old firehouse here in Springfield. You know the one I'm talking about, Keith? It's on National, North National.
Yeah, I think I have.
Oh, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we're in that bar. It's not open anymore. They actually closed it about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But it was a nice little pub to go into. And there was this guy that was there with some friends, and he got too hammered. And they asked him to leave. The bartender and the owner, like, you got to take your friend out of here. So they all exit. We watched him exit with this guy. And then they came walking back in without him. And Mac and I are like, what the fuck? What'd they do with that guy? You know, what did they do with him? Maybe they put him in a car. Well, Mac and I are done. We played some pool, drank some, and we left. As we're leaving, we go around the corner out into the parking area at the side of the street. And he's laying half on the sidewalk and half in the grass in front of their friend's car, passed out. And so we decided to dick face him. We have no idea who this guy is. We dick face the stranger. And if you don't know what dick facing is, it's where you take a permanent marker and you write and draw shit on their face.
Have you looked in the mirror yet today, Gary? Have you looked in the mirror today, by the way? Oh, never mind. No,
those eyebrows are real. He draws them on.
We did to this guy. We wrote on his face, "I have shitty friends. My friends are the worst." And
yeah,
I just wrote. Mac and I wrote that all over his face. And if you're reading this, you're a fucking asshole. And left him there going, I wonder how that's going to turn out. They just dumped him in the grass outside. You know, Springfield's a nice town, but there are criminals here, especially in that part of town. That's where all the high crime is.
Next
like,
time
they just left him laying there.
Next time it happens, make sure you're at the cabin with the lake nearby and take him out with the mattress and see how long it takes him to. We realize he's floating in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, I've never done that, but the stuff that I've been involved with, I've told the stories of some of them. I told one of them about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The prank itself, I thought was pretty vulgar. What we did to this guy who passed out at a party, but what was done later was what made it a classic, because we took a photo of it, a Polaroid of this guy passed out, and made it look like I was there behind him with a big pink dildo. And I'm right behind him with he still had his underwear. He wasn't naked ass, but, and he's like, somebody laid in the bathtub and turned his face towards the camera. And he's bent over the bathtub. It was funny as fuck. But what made this a classic and more memorable is somebody made a, have you seen this man missing person poster, and would post it all over town on billboards and on telephone poles. And the guy would get so fucking angry about this. I'm like, I really
wonder why.
Who's fucking doing this. I have no clue. Yes, I'm in the photo, but I don't know who got the master photo, the final Polaroid, or who made these. But it was fucking awesome, dude. It was fucking awesome. And he would get angry, go around town tearing these things off. He would drive around and tear these things down, which made it even funnier. Because, you know, the person was wasting his time, wasting the other guy's time. Great. I love shit like that. I don't know.
That's funny, man.
Friendship is borderline.
Fucking
and it should be that way. But sometimes someone goes over a line, and it happens with friends. And someone and it's like, oh man, you went a bridge too far with that one, dude. Fuck you. And hurt feelings happen, and people stop talking for a bit. But that's being friends with guys, man. That's just part of it.
You got to work it out.
You were in the military too. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh god, yeah.
Gary's dick is
practical jokes for a way of life.
I haven't seen it in years.
Martin, blow me up quickly.
No.
What did you say to him?
Beg your pardon?
Blow me up quickly.
Oh,
blow me quickly.
I know you want to watch Martin blow me, but Gary, after the show, this is getting weird.
No.
Take away my name. It's Gary's favorite picture.
Like, you ain't hot enough to pay for it.
There you go.
That's it. Show's over. That's what I've been saying for days.
Hi, drawings.
And that's it. We're the fuck out of here. Everybody have a good Friday. Tom and I will be back tomorrow with Tom and Gary does Oppenheimer, man. It's gonna
blow.
Explosive episode.
It's gonna blow.
Did anyone else get like the?
Hopefully it won't bomb. That'll be tomorrow, 3:00 Central Time. Tom and I will go over that movie. He just got a 4K copy of it, so he's fucking outside himself excited. Oh, good. Thank you. Getting Brian sleeping. There you go. Fuck you, Brian.
I wasn't sleeping. It was the weight of that hat on my head.
He got upset because I said it looked like a Make-A-Wish. He got all upset. I was just
I never got upset. I was just...
Stephen made me take off my hat because he said I looked like a cancer patient.
Stop that! It's silly. Very silly indeed.